and Sebring and Laguna Seca and Montreal and Indianapolis, and just seems like a couple of weeks ago we were in Homestead, Miami, and here we are now in Mugello, ready to round the season out with the final two races in the championship over today and tomorrow, and then of course the glittering world final on Sunday, where we pit the North American, Asian Pacific and European drivers together. And these two have battled it out all season long. Benjamin Ites and Cooper McNeil in the Trofeo Pirelli class of Ferrari Challenge, and their P1 and P2 on the grid. That promises great things. So, in Tuscany then, we are perhaps an hour from Florence and an hour and 10 from Bologna, I guess. Situated in Scarperia San Piero in Tuscany, this is the Mugello circuit, and what a circuit it is. 5.245 kilometers, some 14 challenging turns, 6 left, 8 right. Sector 1 features 3 turns, Sector 2 6 turns, and Sector 3 is 5 turns. And up until now, the fastest Ferrari Challenge lap has been a 1:49.706. And there you can see the track unfold in the graphics on the screen. Cooper McNeil and Benjamin Ites on the front row. Then it is Marc Issa, the best of the Shell drivers, already a champion, of course, and what a season he has had, and some of the most memorable podium celebrations I've seen. The weather conditions here in Mugello this weekend are a sight better today than they were yesterday, where it was rain all day long. There is a bit of wind around. Alongside me, we'll be introducing you to Miguel Molina in just a few moments' time. But we're going to take a look at the postcard that we put together of the venue, first of all, and this fantastic region of Tuscany and this fantastic track. Promised you I would introduce a guest alongside us here in comms this afternoon. Official Ferrari GT driver Miguel Molina, welcome.
Hello.
This has been a fantastic season in North America because Cooper McNeil and Benjamin Ites have been battling all season long as we look at John Maygrue. And first of all, Miguel, we should offer congratulations to you for a very, very successful 2019.
Yeah, actually, we had quite a good championships. I did 3 championships this year, and we finished second in the Blancpain Endurance Championship, only by 1 point behind. So that hurt a bit, but at the end, at the same time in America with Tony Villander, we had a really good season. I skipped 2 races, but he could clinch the championship, and that's really important because we also won the manufacturer champion.
And of course, you really helped Tony in that, really.
Well, we had a really good. we had we won last year the championship together, and we were leading this year also together. And until the news came out that I joined the WEC championship, and it was clashing one race, and that was the problem to not do all the championship there. And but really happy because he won the championship, and we had a really good year together.
We have seen Marc Issa, and we've also seen Cloud Senaretti, and this is Dave Musial. Now, Dave Musial, really interesting. Dave, it's almost like in the North American season, the second half of the season is like he's found a magic pill because he's all of a sudden he's gone brilliantly quick. And, I think what's spurring him on is we got the news halfway through the season that his son would be joining the Ferrari Challenge grid next season. Okay, so all of a sudden he's thinking, I can't let him beat me.
No, but that's cool because there are a lot of families here in the Ferrari Challenge family that they are racing father and son or father and daughter, and that's really cool, and it's really important to keep going on this way because that means that the organization and the championship is really nice, and the families are enjoying.
Indeed so. We were just looking at Mark Musso, and before that, Eric Marston. Eric Marston, coached, of course, by the same person that coaches Cooper McNeil. That's Alessandro Balzan, who also knows how to propel a Ferrari around a track, doesn't he, Miguel? Very quick driver.
Yeah, Alessandro is a really experienced driver, and they are doing good job also with Cooper, and Cooper is racing really a lot this year, and that for sure it will help for the last races here.
And that's what's really interesting, because Cooper has said, there is no question about it, that the amount of racing I do does help me in every competition that I am in, because as we look at Brad Horstman here, every time you're in the car, behind the wheel, you're just adding more and more and more experience, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I had the experience also in this way. Last year and this year I did a lot of races, and
yes.
As much as you are in the car is better. You get used to it. You perform better. You arrive in a track that you probably don't know, and you are suddenly there because you are used to race the week before. And
sure.
And you have less inputs to learn, and that's really important. So for sure to Cooper is helping, and today for sure we will have a good race with in the North American Championship.
What's brilliant about the North American Ferrari Challenge is the fact that when you get into the Trofeo Pirelli Pro situation that we are in now, there is merely 8 points between P1 and P2.
Yeah.
And it's great when the championship comes to the final round, isn't it?
Yeah, when the chances are open is more interesting for sure on racing. And today and tomorrow will be a tight racing. They've been fighting this year quite close. So
let's see.
We will see what happens.
So Trofeo Pirelli and Coppershell joined together from North America for race number 1. Beppe Scanetti then will drive the Hublot safety car and lead the cars away on their formation lap. It is the conclusion of the North American season. And whilst we're talking about North America, I must also pay a great deal of credit to my broadcast colleagues in North America. The brilliant Greg Creamer and Shay Adam, who've been with me all season long. Sadly, they're not here in Mugello, but thanks, guys. You've been a great team to work with, and miss you here. So the cars are about to set off then. 30 minutes of race action here to come at Mugello. And Mugello, Miguel, is one of these tracks that it can really reward you, but it can bite you on the bottom as well, can't it?
Yeah, it's a really nice track, really good landscape, and in the Tuscany. So that's the beautiful part of Mugello, but for sure it's really tricky. And for racing, I think for these cars, it's a really good racetrack to race. It's not so easy to overtake, but we have a long straight where if you went out of the last corner close to the front car, you have the chance to overtake.
Let's see. We will get some overtaking, that's for sure. We're running through the grid for you in graphics, as you can see. Jay Schreitman, he'll be one to watch. Eric Marston too, and Brent Holden and Ross Twest and Kaminsky. And then first of the lady racers, Lisa Clark is going from P18 on the grid. Pichoni Osque, Lance Corley, Gianni Grilli and Al Heggie and Eileen Bildman round out the 24 cars that are on track for this first race for the North American season here at Mugello. And the cars weaving from side to side. Well, some are and some aren't. And what's critical here, and this is something, Miguel, that you taught me, is that on the formation lap, it's the use of the brakes which dissipates the heat into the tyres rather than really trying to scrub the tyres. Actually, you're better off braking, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. You generate more energy doing strong brakings and accelerating longitudinal, and this will help to heat up the tyres. For sure, you can wave a bit, but the more efficient warming up tyres is doing this braking and accelerating.
So we're on board with the Hublot safety car then. the taut, tight fight at the top then between Benjamin Ites, who of course gets a point for pole position, which means the points deficit to Cooper McNeil, who will be starting from P2 on the grid, is now merely 8 points. Could not be tighter. Mark Isa, who's going from P3 on the grid, is already the Shell champion. Into the AM drivers, Ziad Gandor goes from P4 on the grid. Then we find Dave Musial, John McGrew, Cloud Senaretti, and then it's Brian Davis and Neil Gahani and Mark Muzo as we round out just the first 5 rows of the grid then, as we're about to go racing here in Mugello. As always in the Ferrari Challenge, it is a rolling start. The cars will grid up behind the safety car, driven, as I said, by former Ferrari Challenge champion Beppe Scanetti. And the 24 cars then, as we look at some of the engineers and team managers. And it's always a tense moment at the start of a race. Miguel, how do you calm yourself when you're on a, just ahead of the green? And, do you go through any particular routine to make sure you're as cool as a cucumber here?
Well, no. When you are there in before starting, you always have your rituals, but once you are in the car and you are there doing the formation lap, you just focus on the start, and you just focus on warming up the tires. That is the most important thing to do on these first kilometers. So actually, you really don't think about it in this moment when that if you are nervous or not, because you have some work to do just before the race.
We're standing by then. The music will build the anticipation for race number 1 of this finale Mondiale weekend in Mugello. But as you can see, Benjamin Ites is already champing at the bit, and the grid formation was completely unsatisfactory, which is why the safety car has stayed out. Now, in that situation, you and I both know, Miguel, the cars are supposed to be absolutely side by side, and they really weren't.
Yeah, was something happened there? I don't know exactly, but that's the problem. You are really close, and they are really slowing down too much. So they have an extra formation lap, and
basically the rule is that the cars should be side by side as they approach the start-finish line.
Yeah.
And that's when it will go green. Now we have here, of course, our Claudio, who is our race director, and an innovation that from the Ferrari Challenge this year has been that we have various of our official Ferrari GT drivers, you being one of them, Miguel, to actually go in and sit in race control and see things and devise things from a driver's perspective. The race director in North America from IMSA, Todd Schneider, he is here this weekend as well, so the cars will be set off on another formation lap. Now, no one is going to be penalised, I don't think, over that.
No,
but
I don't think so.
I would have said that for sure, in a way, it was Benjamin Ites who had, for whatever reason, was 2 or 3 car lengths ahead of everybody else on the grid, and that's why we've had to have an additional formation lap.
Yeah. So, actually, like you said, we have a new role. Well, we've been doing this all year long, but we have this role in here in the Finale Mondiale, being in the race control room to try to give our ideas, or we're to speak with the race director.
Yes.
So in any case that there is something that we can help, so we are there just to advise, and the final decision they take it, but we are there just in case we need to give our opinion.
And it's really good that, race directors who, let's be truthful, Miguel, I'm sure you're fallen foul of some of the decisions that have been made by race directors in the past,
Yeah.
So it's also good as a racing driver to see it from a different perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You learn a lot also from there, because you know where they really are looking at. No, just kidding. But at the end, it's really nice to be there, because you understand how they they think and how they behave inside the room, and it makes you sometimes to do different things on the track.
And of course, they have access to so much data and so many more cameras. They can see every single part of the track. So when you think the exit of turn 14, actually, I can get away with something here, they know about it, don't they?
Yeah, there are a lot. They have a lot of cameras, and right now in all championships, the main problem is the track limit.
Yes.
So you really understand when you are up there in the room that when there is a track limit, there is a track limit. So sometimes from inside is more difficult to from inside the car is more difficult to understand if you are sometimes in or out of the track.
Okay.
But they definitely know.
So there's Miguel doing a very good job of explaining why, just on occasions, all four wheels might be the wrong side of the white line. Yeah. Only on occasions. But yes, of course, the race directors and the race control can see exactly. So we're going through another formation lap, which means even better value for you, the viewer of the Ferrari Challenge North America, because we give you another formation lap before we get the green flag, and hopefully everything will be fine now, as once again the music builds the anticipation. Front row of the grid, Benjamin Ites, Cooper McNeil, stand by. We're about to go racing. We get a green, and the cars are away. Cooper McNeil right alongside Benjamin Ites going into turn number 1. They rise uphill, as you can see. Can Cooper McNeil keep his foot in and put himself ahead of Benjamin Ites going into turn 1? No, he cannot. So Benjamin Ites leads going into the long sweeping turn 1, and you rise uphill, and then he makes the car very wide to prevent Cooper McNeil from coming through. Bear in mind, we have both Copa Shell and Trofeo Pirelli all in the same race. It's a very busy, packed grid of cars, and what a race this is going to be. Led by Benjamin Ites. P2 is Cooper McNeil. Ziad Gandor with a great start, putting himself ahead of Mark Issa. He's in P3 and is the best of the AM drivers in Trofeo Pirelli. But for the moment, showing a clean pair of heels to Cooper McNeil is Benjamin Ites. 4/10 between the two of them. So just taking a look at the inside there, but it's a very difficult place to overtake. Jay Schreibman, P13. Ross Twest is P14. Then it's Eric Marstin, P15. You can see there already just how lively Jay Schreibman is looking in the 363 car. He wants to make progress. Benjamin Ites continues, and there, just taking a look at the inside, you can just see how very wisely yielded out of that potential overtake, because that could have been potential collision as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, it was a quite clean first lap right now, so it's really important to start like this in the race, because it will be a long 30 minutes race that you can have more opportunities to overtake. So it's not. Sometimes it's better to lift off a bit before and try it in another place.
Absolutely. The race is not won on the first lap, is it? So you're right. Discretion is sometimes the better part of valor, and I have to say the standard of racing across the Ferrari Challenge North American season has been brilliant. So Benjamin Ites leading Cooper McNeil over Ziad Gandor, then is Mark Issa and Dave Musial and John Migru ahead of Davis and Steneretti and Musso, and then it is Gahani and Horseman, and Schreibman did get the overtake done. He's up into P12. Cooper McNeil is keeping Benjamin Ites really keen at the moment. So there you can see Benjamin Ites in the red and green 488, and there in the WeatherTech liveried car is Cooper McNeil. These two have been brilliant, fair, firm competitors all season long. So Cooper McNeil, who of course races in other classes as well, is chasing down Benjamin Ites, who did it all in qualifying and put the car on pole position, and now P1 and P2 are really beginning to stretch themselves ahead of Ziad Gandor and Mark Issa. Something like a couple of seconds already between the P1 and P2 drivers, and then back to P3 and P4. For the moment, both of them looking really tidy here. And I think that Cooper McNeil is going to perhaps and this is my belief, is he just going to rest for a little while now and let Benjamin Benitez do all the work, and then in maybe a couple of laps time, then he'll really pressure him again? Because when you're following a car and you're right on it, trying to overtake, then you take so much out of the tyres, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. But we can see that Cooper is sliding a lot on the tires, so probably he needs to warm up better the tires, and we'll see if at the end of the race how will the tires behave. But we could see now that he's struggling a bit more than Benjamin.
So all of a sudden, Ziad Gandor is under pressure from Mark Issa here. Now they run in separate classes because Ziad Gandor is the best of the AM drivers, say in Trofeo Pirelli, and Mark Issa is, of course, Shell champion and leads the Shell race at the moment. Best of Trofeo Pirelli Pro, of course, is Benjamin Benitez, and here is Mark Issa then, who is leading that Shell category, but desperately wants to get back ahead of Ziad Gandor. And leader in the AM class of Shells is Brad Horseman, but Brad Horseman is being chased now by Jay Schreibman from Ferrari of Detroit. So there you can see the battle that's going on between Ziad Gandor and Mark Issa, and Dave Musial is wanting to buy into that as well in the 230 car. Now, for my money here, Dave Musial is in a perfect position because he can allow those two cars to fight ahead of him and almost do his work for them. So he's just ready to pounce, if you like, when something happens. Yeah,
it's difficult to say because it's only 2 laps finish, and now everything is warming up, the tires especially, and we'll see how everything behaves from now on.
Benjamin Benitez sets the fastest lap of the race, and when you go into the race from the formation lap, you've done your warm-up routine. Will the tyres reach the optimum temperature after 1 lap, or does it take longer than that?
It will take longer for sure. It's not the same qualifying and race.
Right.
So in qualifying, you really need that the pressures and the temperature is there in the 2nd lap maximum
right.
to take everything out of the new tires. But then in the race, it's really important to keep a consistent level of pressure, or tire pressures and tire temperatures. And for sure to keep that, it's not good to have it already in the 1st lap. It's better to have it probably in the 3rd or 4th lap, and then keep it there for the maximum time possible.
Alongside us in comms then is official Ferrari GT driver Miguel Molina, grateful for his input into how the race unfolds here, which the race being led in terms of Pirelli by Benjamin Benitez. And here's Brad Horseman then, and Brad Horseman then is the leader with regards to Shell AM. So Bradley Horseman then, who drives for that Foreign Cars Italia brand, and the 305 number that he adopts for this finale Mondiale weekend. Incidentally, last lap, Benjamin Benitez set the fastest lap, a 1:54.169, as we continue to watch Brad Horseman, who is going to be chased now by Jay Schreibman. Jay Schreibman has had something of a really, really good year, in my opinion. Neil Gahani then in the 236 car that we can see. And the battle for P1, as you can see, there's 1.4 seconds between Benjamin Benitez and Cooper McNeil. So Benjamin Benitez doing a good job here and building himself a bit of comfort space between his position as P1 and that of the P2 car. But the pace these two have got, they've really broken away, Miguel. Of course, Benitez has got a completely clear track ahead of him. He can just focus on every apex and just concentrate and totally nail that. And the speed that these two are showing, I mean, they're lapping in the 154s. Everyone else is in the 56s or 57s. So it's extraordinary pace from these two.
Yeah, they have a bit, let's say, advantage of the ahead of the others, and for sure Benjamin and Cooper, they are keeping close the pace. But we could see that Benjamin is a bit faster now, and this is what he could. That's why he could make a small gap of 1.2 seconds.
What was really interesting, Miguel, over that last lap time, 1:55.088 from Benjamin Benitez, a 1:54.872 from Cooper McNeil. So is Cooper now thinking, right, I'm going to start my chase now.
Yeah, for sure. As what I said, probably he was waiting or he was not pushing since the beginning to try to wait for the right momentum of the tires. And now we'll see. He gained one more tenth now in the first sector as well to Benjamin. So it's the right time probably to push now.
Well, we will see how that unfolds. From the Scuderia Corsa pit wall then, as they look on, and of course they will be encouraging Cooper all they can. Benjamin Ites, of course, driving for the collection, and we mentioned Alessandro Balzan, who coaches Cooper McNeil. We should mention Stefano Guy, who coaches Benjamin Ites, and Stefano, of course, and Alessandro Balzan himself as well. They're both hugely experienced and very, very talented drivers. So Benjamin Ites is P1, Cooper McNeil is P2. Ziad Gandor and Dave Mugello. Dave Mugello has got past Mark Issa in the number 230 car. Then Dave Mugello on a charge, and he's now P2 in terms of Trofeo Pirelli AMS. P1 is Ziad Gandor, who he is chasing now. Ziad Gandor, the first of the yellow cars here. Dave Mugello in the second one, or the white one, and then there's another yellow car, which is the car being driven by Mark Issa, who of course is P1 in Shell. Watch his podium celebrations when it comes to the end of the race if he stays P1, because he is extraordinary. He is like a rock star, genuinely. Leader in Shell AM is Brad Horseman, ahead of Jay Schreibman, and the gap between Horseman and Schreibman is about 1.5 seconds. Well, it's 1.6 to be absolutely accurate. Dave Mugello then is taking some time out of Ziad Gandor here. Dave Mugello is on something of a charge, isn't he? So this is going to be interesting to watch. So a big battle going on for honours in terms of Trofeo Pirelli AM. And there you can see the really rather liveried car of Brad Horseman. There is Dave Mugello then. Ferrari Lake Forest then, the 230 car. Chasing down Ziad Gandor. Z-Dog as he's known. Ziad Gandor for Boardwalk Ferrari. Dave Mugello, Ferrari Lake Forest then. Arguing over P3 and P4 in the race overall, but it's P1 and P2 in terms of the AM classification. And Mark Issa, who's got a decent gap over Brian Davis and also Cloud Senaretti, and then it's John Megru, who's P3 in the AMs. In terms of Shell AM, it's Brad Horseman, Jay Schreibman, and Eric Marston, who are the 1, 2, 3 currently. We've got the first third of the race done and dusted. 20 minutes are in the book, and for my money here, Ziad Gandor is just under pressure a little bit. The last lap around, Dave Mugello posted his best lap at 1:56.196, and took something like 5/10 out of the Ziad Gandor car ahead of him. So when it comes to that particular chicane, there are some drivers take really rather more of it than others. I mean, you know, smooth is quick, isn't it? But sometimes do you have to be aggressive?
Yeah, sometimes you need to be aggressive to lead less, to do less meters on the track. So for sure is always keeping the wheels on track, and that's the important thing. But for sure in these fast chicanes is where you can make the difference on time, and for sure it's really important to be aggressive there.
So the battle for P2 in Shell is between Davis and Cloud Senaretti. Then Cloud Senaretti comes here to Mugello with that really rather lovely pink livery on his 488 Challenge car. And Davis, who I have to say the thing that's really impressed me about the particular car and the livery style of Davis, whilst it looks absolutely stunning, is the fact that he's run with green wheels, and really rather impresses me, green wheels, and I'm wondering whether I should apply those to my road-going Fiat Panda. I'm not sure. So there is Cloud Senaretti then, chasing down Brian Davis. Mark Issa, who is leading that Shell class, and indeed is the champion, has got quite a margin of some 3 seconds, so is in a relatively comfortable position at the moment. The gap between Benjamin Ites and Cooper McNeil right at the front of the pack has increased to 1.8 seconds. So Benjamin Ites has responded to Cooper McNeil's fast lap by putting in a 1:54.863. So seesawing between the two of those, but we go back to this battle between Brian Davis and Cloud Ceneretti. Cloud Ceneretti then racing with the number 351 this weekend, which in the UK is a very famous racing number. So Ziad Gandor and Dave Musial then. And there is Dave Musial in the 230 car, driving for Ferrari Lake Forest. As I mentioned, his son will be joining the Ferrari Challenge grid next year. So Dave's ante will be upped somewhat because there will be something of a challenge for him. He's been driving in the Club Challenge, which is a great learning place, isn't it, Miguel, to get your experience on the track and, of course, with these cars.
Yeah, for sure. Before joining the championship, it's really important to do some mileage, and it's a good place to do it. So for sure, as much as kilometers is you can get before starting a season, is much better to be prepared for the races.
I just wonder whether Benjamin Ites has made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, he lost 1 second actually in the first part of the racetrack. So Cooper McNeil catch up to now it's 0.8 seconds ahead only.
So Benjamin Ites somewhere then lost a significant chunk of time. That has allowed Cooper McNeil to get a bit closer. So Benjamin Ites, Cooper McNeil, you can see last time around the gap was 1.2 seconds. It'll be very interesting to see what the cumulative gap is when they cross the timing line to complete the lap now in just a few moments' time. If the race finished now, Cooper McNeil will be on 229 points, Benjamin Ites on 226, assuming everything stays the way it is now. And with regards to AMS, Ziad Gandor would be on 166 points and Neil Kahani on 161, so there'd be 5 between the AM drivers, P1 and P2, and 3 between the Trofeo Pirelli drivers.
Really tight, really tight.
We love it. It goes to the last race. That's exactly what we want. So, across the timing line they come then, and Benjamin Ites collecting some 266 kilometers per hour as he made his way through the speed trap. And to be fair, Benjamin Ites has recovered a bit, hasn't he? Because he's opened the gap up to 1.1 now. They're the top speed standings, and it's Kaminsky that is quickest of everyone, 278.1 kilometers per hour through the speed trap. But Benjamin Ites, for my money here, is just looking a little bit more raggy than Cooper McNeil.
He is losing a bit of time in the first sector. We can see that he's driving a bit more careful and smooth, and that's why Cooper can reduce the gap on the first sector, where you got a bit more aggressive on the chicane. But in the second sector, where the fast corners are there, like Arrabbiata and all these kind of corners, I think Benjamin is a bit faster, and that's why it makes a difference.
That's Cloud Ceneretti that has gone around and gone off, but has recovered. The Ferrari of Fort Lauderdale driver is back and got the car pointing in the right direction. We'll probably get a replay of what caused Cloud Ceneretti to go off as we continue to watch Benjamin Ites and Cooper McNeil then at the top of the charts at the moment, P1 and P2. Ziad Gandor running P3. Then these are the orders in the race overall. It's Dave Musial ahead of Mark Issa, and then the 328 car, which is currently running in P6, that of Brian Davis. So across the timing line they come now. Benjamin Ites, it was 1.4 last time around. Cooper McNeil crosses the timing line as well now, and it's a 1.5. So whatever Benjamin Ites is losing in Sector 1, he's regaining in Sectors 2 and 3, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, what we could see. I think he's making the most difference are in the second sector.
And this is how it's all about those track limits. And actually, something I said right at the start of the program is that this track is so rewarding when you get it right, but it bites you on the bottom, and that's exactly what can happen, isn't it?
Yeah, and the fast corners or the chicanes, if you are too aggressive, you run out of the track, and that's the problem.
Well, he managed to just keep it out of the tyre barriers, and therefore he was able to do a 360 and get the car going once again. Cooper McNeil now, sector 1, fastest.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Actually, in the first sector, he's quite.
Now,
yeah.
This could be critical as well, Miguel, because you've got traffic.
Yeah, traffic is important as well to manage it. So let's see how both drivers will react on that.
So both Benjamin Ites then and Cooper McNeil are coming up against traffic, and you can see that both Benjamin Ites and Cooper McNeil are trying to negotiate that traffic, and the one that's done it best is Cooper McNeil, who goes into P1. Well, that was just the way he overtook the back-marking cars. He has managed to put himself P1. Brilliant, opportunistic driving from Cooper McNeil, Miguel.
Yeah, exactly. It's what we said. It's really important to react fast on traffic, because you can lose more than gain. So we'll see what's going on, because we had seen that Benjamin has a bit better pace than Cooper, but now he's in front. So let's see if he can, if they will start to fight on track.
Well, Cooper McNeil then disposed of the back-marking cars really very efficiently and has put himself ahead of Benjamin Ites. So Benjamin Ites, we know, has been quick then as they go through turn number 1 and climb uphill. Can Benjamin Ites, is all very well being quicker than the car in front, you've still got to find a way by it, haven't you, Miguel? And Cooper will make that 488 perhaps a few centimetres wider, and you can see how frustrated Benjamin is.
Yeah, exactly. Now he was having a smooth race at the beginning, and now it's a bit more complicated. So he did a small mistake. And let's see. Like I said, I mean, I think it has had a bit better pace than Cooper. So we will see what's going to happen.
But whilst we're enjoying the battle on track, inside the crash helmets of both of those drivers, there's a psychological battle going on. And at the moment, Cooper McNeil is P1 in that battle as well, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. What is clear is they are fighting for the championship, and Benjamin, to catch up, Cooper has to finish in front. So
yes,
that's clear, and for sure he's gonna fight until the end.
He is doing everything he can. He's really harrying Cooper McNeil now.
So we can see also that he lost a bit of
those sausage curbs. He just took it as if he was in a Land Rover.
Yeah, I mean, he had the mistake in the first sector, but he's already there in the back of the car of Cooper. So, like I said, will be a nice finish of the race.
This is exciting. Cooper McNeil, Benjamin Ites then cross the timing line with, look at that, just 2/10 between them. So where can Benjamin Ites try and get Cooper McNeil to make a mistake? Because that's probably what is going to be needed. But Cooper generally, he has made mistakes, but it's not common practice. And Cooper McNeil, of course, knows that what he's doing is cementing his P1 position in terms of the Drivers' Championship by being ahead of the man that beat him in qualifying, Benjamin Ites, who led all of the race up until the back-marking cars that needed to be got past, and Cooper just did a better job of doing that than Benjamin Ites and put himself in P1. So, but Benjamin Ites is staying absolutely with him here. There's no question about it. In my opinion, the 233 car has got better pace than Cooper McNeil. But the problem is, he's got the car ahead of him and he's got to find a way by. And it's not so easy here at Mugello, is it?
Like I said at the beginning, it's not an easy racetrack to overtake. There are some points, but you need to be really, really close to the front car to not make any mistake. Like it is now, it's really, really close.
That is really close, isn't it? And of course, what neither of them want to do is for both of them to go off the track. So, in fairness, the fight all season long has been extremely fair between the two of them. There's been great respect between both of them, and there's good camaraderie as well. But actually, when it comes to being on the tarmac with your 488, there's only one position you want, and that's the lead position. And that's what Benjamin Ites is trying to wrestle back from Cooper McNeil now, and he's as close as he's been. So Cooper McNeil then rounds the final turn. Benjamin Ites takes a slightly different line, and it will be a drag race towards turn number 1, the San Donato turn between the two of them. So Cooper McNeil then has got the advantage of being able to place the car wherever he wants it, and is able just to gap Benjamin Ites because he got a slightly better exit from the final Puccini turn.
Yeah, oh, now he tries.
Oh. When you see it from that camera angle, you think, was there just a little kiss there? But there wasn't. Here comes more traffic. Now, keeping very, very well out of the way is Brian Kaminsky, making sure that he doesn't hinder either of those two drivers.
What we can see is that they are pushing now everything what they have in the hand. So, yeah, it's looking good for the spectators and for us.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we like to see a great race, and we've got a great race going on now. Should remind you, Ziad Gandor is leading the AM class. Oof. That was a brave move, wasn't it?
That was really, yeah, probably a bit too optimistic.
Well, there we are. In terms of Shell drivers, it's Davis from Issa from Senaretti. So Issa losing out to Davis, and you'll forgive us for focusing and concentrating on this Pirelli battle between Cooper McNeil and Benjamin Ites, but it's well, it's lit up good and proper. And here comes Benjamin Ites now, almost welding himself to the back of the WeatherTech liveried car of Cooper McNeil with but 5.5 minutes left to run. It's getting towards the sharp end of the race where Benjamin is going to have to make a move if he's going to make a move. So into the Puccini turn again. It's a really sweeping turn, and you come downhill as well. And it's quite, actually, until you drive the track or walk the track, you don't realize actually the elevation changes are quite severe, aren't they, Miguel?
Yeah, they are quite big elevations, especially in the last corner. You go really down.
Yes.
And there is also some banking.
Well, Ites to the inside of Cooper McNeil then. I think there might have been a touch between the two of them, but for the moment, Cooper keeps his cool and stays ahead of Benjamin Ites and isn't going to be harried or worried by him, but Benjamin Ites means business here. Look, he's out on the loose stuff, the back end of the car. Let's go. He holds on to it. Miguel, you said just a few moments ago he's throwing everything at this, and he is.
Yeah, for sure. We can see it. They are pushing both. But like you said, it's being so far so clean and no real or strange movement from both of them. So really nice fight.
So Benjamin Ites is the one doing the chasing now. Cooper McNeil just took his chances through the traffic and managed to put himself ahead of the 233 car. And you can see just how close they are with just 3 3/4 minutes of this race left. It's got to come from somewhere, and Cooper has looked absolutely resolute in his position. He's not made any mistakes. And at this point of the race, Miguel, presumably when you're being as aggressive as Benjamin is in terms of trying to find a way past Cooper McNeil, he's taking so much out of his Pirelli rubber.
Yeah, for sure. But now is the right time to go, and probably he will have like maximum 2 or 3 chances to overtake. So one of these ones has to make the move. So 3 minutes to go, and we'll see.
Well, that looks like a wheel that's come off or a tyre that has come off, and waved yellows now across the timing line as Benjamin Ites on the inside of Cooper McNeil. Now, did he make that overtake just as the safety car was called for, Miguel?
We'll see what happened. For sure was a yellow flag out there, but I don't know if in the first corner was green. So let's see. There now the tension starts on the teams to check.
I am so glad that I'm a commentator and not a race director.
Yeah. Now my colleague there in the race control room.
Who's doing it this weekend?
I don't know who is now,
okay.
but
oh my goodness me! Well, that's Gianni Grilli's car, and
he's moving inside, so looks everything okay. He's going out, so that's a good sign.
To be fair, the first images we saw were of the tyre, weren't they? But that has been a big impact. And I would suggest to you, and this is only a suggestion, that there is no way in under 2 minutes that we're going to get back to racing?
No, doesn't look like, because
here it is.
He had a puncture probably, and
yeah. The car, I mean, the tyre let go, didn't it? And in fairness, it really spat him into the wall, didn't it?
He couldn't do anything.
So discussions going on there, furious discussions, of course, with regards to whether the Benjamin Ites overtake came.
That's the question.
Well, do you know what? This says something about the integral safety of the 488 Challenge car, because Gianni Grilli is walking away perfectly okay.
Yeah, exactly, and especially here that the high speed is actually, we are in a really high speed, and to crash the wall in this move is not so nice, and that means that the car is really safe, and the guys did a really good job in Maranello.
What we should say is that when it came to the design of the 488 Challenge car, actually, drivers like yourself were consulted to a great degree in terms of the safety of the car and how the car was designed, and that really has proven its worth, because as you say, one of the fastest parts of the track, for that car to be spat into the gravel, spat into the concrete wall, and there is Gianni Grilli, who's, as you can see, apart from dented pride, is perfectly okay. Clearly, there was nothing you can do in that situation. Miguel, is there?
You are like a passenger there. If there is we'll see what happened exactly, but when something happened like this, quite strange in a straight line, you cannot do anything. So, like you said, we are also there testing sometimes this 488 challenge, and we are giving our feelings and our feedback to try to get better car for all everything. But yeah,
that works and has worked. Whilst we were watching that fantastic battle going on, Jay Schreibman led the AM classification. Leading in terms of Trofeo Pirelli AM was Ziad Gandor. Leading in terms of Shell, Mark Issa. And at the moment, leading in terms of Trofeo Pirelli, Benjamin Ites. But
final lap.
We are on the final lap. It's going to be behind the safety car, which I have to say is something of a shame, because that was really, it was a good nice fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good race, a good fight. Like I said, I mean, Benjamin had probably only 2 or 3 chances until the end of the race to overtake Cooper, and he saw this opportunity and he tried. So let's see if it's regular or not. But we will finish the race like this.
I wonder if the argument from Ferrari Westlake will be Cooper had slowed because was aware of, but actually you and I, in the pictures that we saw, we didn't see a yellow flag at that corner, did we? I don't think I did.
We couldn't see in the turn one. We saw it in the straight line, but in the first corner we don't know. So that will be the question, if it was out on the first corner on turn one. If it was not out, I think the movement was right, and if it wasn't, if it was a yellow flag, for sure he will need to give back the position.
Well, the race is coming to a conclusion. We're on the final lap. We're behind the Hublot safety car then that leads the cars around. To the best of our knowledge, it's Benjamin Ites leading the race from Cooper McNeil, P1 and P2. P3 in terms of Trofeo Pirelli is Mark Muso. With regards to Pirelli AM, it's going to be Ziad Gandor, P1, ahead of Neil Gahani and John Megru. Good result for John Megru. In terms of Shell drivers, it's Brian Davis ahead of Mark Issa, ahead of Claude Senaretti. And then in terms of the Shell AM drivers, Jay Schreibman ahead of Brad Horstman and Eric Marston, who will be picking up a podium here in Mugello, as the cars will cross the timing line for the final time to bring to a close a really rather exciting race. And the race was brought to an end by Gianni Grilli, who had a big moment into the concrete wall. Interestingly, and we didn't see what happened here, because I can now see in the pit lane is Dave Musial as well, who of course was in a very, very good position with regards to Trofeo Pirelli Am. So clearly something went wrong with the Dave Musial car for it to be in the pit lane, which is a great shame. So the standings then remain Benjamin Ites ahead of Cooper McNeil. The race has officially finished now. It has finished behind the safety car, and I imagine that race control is a very busy place right now.
For sure there is now.
And I note how you have not jumped up out of your seat to go and offer your assistance in that race control room at the moment. You're better off here, mate.
I'm staying here all day long if you want.
So we've been delighted. We've had the expert analysis of Miguel Molina alongside us, official Ferrari GT driver and darn good bloke as well. And, well, now I can see that Cooper McNeil has been put to the top of the timing screen.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That would indicate that, as far as they were concerned, the overtake was taken under a
yellow flag.
And time penalty 1 second given to car number 233. So that's interesting. It's been a time penalty given rather than so that puts Benjamin Ites.
Yeah, just enough to lose one position.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if it was a green finish, for sure they will ask him to let him by
give him the position.
So it's fair enough to do it like this, because it was just an overtake and doesn't gain so much. And Cooper doesn't lose more position than one. So
sure. So the order then it becomes Cooper McNeil P1, Benjamin Ites P2, and Mark Musso P3 in terms of Trofeo Pirelli. In terms of the AM drivers, it's going to be Ziad Gandor ahead of Neil Gahani and John Maygrue. And interestingly, in the AM classification, Ziad Gandor and Neil Gahani now are tied on 166 points, so it's going to be very exciting tomorrow in that class. Now you will say, surely he's parked behind. Of course, he won't be aware of that yet, will he?
I have the impression that this is not finished.
I love your honesty. There's the confirmation of the classifications then on the screen for you. Jay Schreidman, a very, very good win for Jay Schreidman. What a great character he is. In fact, all the North American drivers are great characters. And Cooper McNeil then jumps out of the car. He is the race winner, officially. And Benjamin Ites is also the winner, but not.
No, let's see. So yeah, difficult decisions now. In the screen,
with Ziad Gandor. Ziad Gandor taking the Pirelli Am win for Boardwalk Ferrari. You can see Benjamin Ites all of a sudden now does not have quite the same expression on his face. He's in conversations at the back of that picture with Stefano Guy. But Ziad Gandor, well done to you, sir. There's Mark Issa to the left of your picture. To the right-hand side of your picture is Brian Davis. Mark Issa then.
For sure. Awesome. That's incredible.
I have to say, one of the things that I've loved about the North American season is that our American drivers are just so loud and proud, and I love it. I love it, Miguel.
Yeah.
Not reserved like you Spanish drivers. Now, conversations are continuing. To the very
like I said, looks like it's not finished for the collection guys.
Interestingly, down there was the IMSA race steward, Todd Schneider. There's Jay Schreidman for Corley Ferrari of Detroit, winner of Shell-Am. Well done, Jay. Let's take a look at the highlights now. As the conversations continue, here they come. So the cars then put onto their formation lap for the 30-minute race to come from Ferrari Challenge North America. Benjamin Ites and Cooper McNeil side by side, and what a packed grid of some 24 cars unleashed as the lights went green and everyone trying to gain every single millimeter of the famed Mugello tarmac that they could. So Cooper McNeil and Benjamin Ites side by side, but Benjamin Ites maintaining that P1 position as they made their way into turn number 1, and there was lots of action going on throughout the field of cars, and everyone looked on with amazement at some brilliant race action. This was the pivotal moment as Cooper McNeil did a better job of overtaking a backmarking car, taking the shorter way round, and that put him ahead of Benjamin Ites. And this was the moment then that Dave Musial made an error and ran through the gravel and unfortunately would end up in the pit lane. And for Gianni Grilli, that was a scary moment, but Gianni was perfectly okay and out of the car. Of course, that provoked the safety car, and under the safety car, Benjamin Ites put himself ahead of Cooper McNeil. However, race control at this moment in time have said that Benjamin Ites picks up a 1-second time penalty, and therefore Cooper McNeil becomes the race winner. Mark Issa then celebrating down there.
You have to celebrate the same way. I'm happy.
Daniel Mancinelli down there as well. These guys really do celebrate. And of course, the thing is, in American racing, you know, podiums are not commonplace. You have victory lanes,
exactly.
don't you? So it's been really, really good.
Yeah, this was one thing of that impressed me there. The philosophy of racing is completely different than here in Europe. So it really more everything is more open. The teams are not. They don't really care. They share boxes. They share a lot of stuff, and is another philosophy, and what I like actually.
So that is Todd Schneider, and the conversations are continuing with Benjamin Ites to the left-hand side. So the jingle indicates then that we will be heading up to the podium. And as it stands, Cooper McNeil will be on the top step. Benjamin Ites will be on step 2. Although those conversations are continuing, as indeed Miguel Molina alongside me indicated they would. It wasn't a done deal quite yet. So there is Marquisa with the shades on and the baseball cap, and Brian Davis, of course, having beaten him. It's Brian Davis and Marquisa and Cloud Steneretti. So
yeah, the question now is about what you said, the green flag at the first corner or not.
So now the discussion is...
Yeah, some discussions are there, but...
Mark. Sometimes it's nice to listen into this. So to the left-hand side of your picture is one of the coordinators of the Ferrari Challenge in North America with the red shirt. That's
Louis.
Louis, who you can see has already pulled some of his hair out. And there is, to the left-hand side of your picture, there is our race director in the States, and that is... That is Todd Schneider from IMSA. There is Cloud Steneretti. Sorry, we're trying to keep you abreast who we're seeing here and try and listen into the discussions as well. Matt Dusenberry on the very left-hand side of your picture, another one of the coordinators from Ferrari Challenge North America. And let's get the challenge show then while they continue their discussions. We're big. Back. Big. We're big. We're back. We're back. We are given to understand that the discussions are still continuing at the moment. There is Benjamin Ites. Now, the argument centers around, as I understand it, Miguel, if Benjamin Ites, as far as he was concerned, if he did not see a yellow flag, he would not know what was unfolding behind him, would he?
Yeah, the thing is what we were discussing now here, that probably he saw a green flag in the first corner, and that's why he tried to overtake Cooper. But in the same time, in the monitors were the safety cars. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing to...
We're now being told that there's going to be a 1 second time penalty given to car number 328, which is Brian Davis, which therefore will make Mark Issa the winner, will it not? Because the gap between Mark Issa and Brian Davis was less than a second, wasn't it? 2.8. Oh, no, it was more. Oh. So Mark Issa has gone to P1.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Miguel, we're not going to see the podium because we've run out of time. Thank you so much for being with us on air.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll hear more from you across the course of the weekend. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.